Urgent, Draymond Green makes a strong statement about LeBron James and the Lakers. Stay until the end to find out everything. But before starting the video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any important news about the Lakers. In a recent interview, LeBron James stirred the basketball world by suggesting that NBA players might one day benefit from taking up to a month off during the season to rest their bodies and minds. It was a thought-provoking idea, and while many praised his perspective on player health and longevity, Draymond Green had a different take, one that added realism to the conversation. Speaking on his own platform, Draymond didn't mock or reject LeBron's suggestion outright. Instead, he offered a grounded perspective. "I don't know that that's possible." For Draymond, the idea of pausing the regular season for an extended individual break simply doesn't align with how the NBA is structured. With 82 games, rigorous travel, national broadcasts, and intense playoff races, there's little room for even a week off, let alone a full month. But his comment wasn't an attack on LeBron. In fact, it came from a place of deep respect. Draymond has long acknowledged LeBron's extraordinary discipline, preparation, and longevity. If there's anyone who could make a case for rest, it's the man who's played more than 20 seasons at an elite level. Draymond himself has said before that LeBron sets the gold standard for maintaining peak performance. Still, the reality of the NBA calendar is unforgiving. Teams can barely afford back-to-back losses, much less losing their best player for a month. Coaches build entire systems around their stars, and the commercial aspect of the game, ticket sales, television contracts, brand partnerships, relies on star power being visible. When LeBron sits, numbers drop. And Draymond knows this. In his response, Draymond wasn't just talking about LeBron. He was making a broader point about how the league functions. Player empowerment is a powerful movement, but it has limits when it comes up against the machine that is professional sports. Rest, mental health, balance, they're all critical. But within a system this large, change has to be structural, not just personal. What's striking is that both LeBron and Draymond are likely right. LeBron is correct in wanting the game to evolve in a way that values recovery and wellness more seriously. Draymond, on the other hand, is right to say that simply taking a month off mid-season is a fantasy under the current rules and financial model. This moment shows the balance between idealism and pragmatism. Two veteran leaders with different visions of what's possible. One dreams out loud, the other answers with the voice of experience. And that's what makes their dialogue so fascinating. It's not a feud, it's a reflection of the tension at the heart of modern professional basketball. For nearly 2 decades, LeBron James has been the living contradiction of the phrase, "Father Time is undefeated." Year after year, he has pushed the boundaries of what an aging superstar can do. But even the greats aren't immune forever. Recently, Draymond Green shared a nuanced take on whether Father Time is finally catching up to LeBron, and his answer wasn't as straightforward as many expected. Draymond didn't declare that LeBron was done, or that his time was up. Quite the opposite. He acknowledged that LeBron still plays at an elite level, capable of putting up 30-plus points, grabbing rebounds, dishing assists, and controlling the pace of a game. But there was something else in his tone, an acceptance that even legends can't outmaneuver time forever. LeBron, now 40, plays with precision instead of the raw explosiveness that once defined his early years. Draymond noted this shift, not as a critique but as a sign of growth. "He doesn't play the same way he did at 25, he said. But that doesn't mean he's less dangerous. It means he's more calculated." In Green's eyes, LeBron hasn't lost a step so much as chosen when to take each step. This is where the chess metaphor returns. According to Draymond, LeBron is no longer the most physically dominant piece on the board. He's the grandmaster behind the moves. He doesn't chase every block or dunk every ball, but he knows where to be, when to pass, when to rest, and when to strike. And that, in many ways, makes him even harder to stop. Still, the signs are there. Draymond admitted that in back-to-back games or late in fourth quarters, you can see the weight of the years. LeBron's minutes are managed more carefully now. He sits out more games than he used to, and recovery time is longer. These aren't weaknesses, they're reminders. Reminders that mortality in sports is real, even for giants. One particularly thoughtful moment came when Draymond reflected on what it means to age in the spotlight. Everyone wants to say when it's over, he explained. But greatness doesn't just disappear. It evolves. He believes that while LeBron may not dominate with sheer athleticism like he once did, he's evolved into a smarter, more efficient version of himself. There's also an emotional element to this transition. Draymond, having battled LeBron in countless playoff games, sees in him not just a rival but a mirror of his own journey. "We're all getting older," he said with a grin. "But we're still out here, still competing at the highest level." That says something. In this chapter of their careers, it's no longer about who jumps higher or runs faster. It's about who understands the game better, who adapts quicker, who can lead longer. And in that sense, LeBron remains very much in the conversation, not despite his age but because of how he's handled it. So, has Father Time caught LeBron? Cordy. When Draymond Green talks about LeBron James, the word he uses more than any other is not dominant, powerful, or even unstoppable. It's smart. And that says a lot coming from Draymond, a player widely regarded as one of the most cerebral minds in basketball. For him to call LeBron James the smartest player to ever play the game isn't just flattery. It's a calculated, sincere assessment. Draymond has faced LeBron in 4 NBA Finals, numerous regular season games, and intense playoff battles that have defined a generation. Over the years, his respect for LeBron hasn't come only from physical matchups. It's grown out of witnessing the mental chess LeBron plays every time he steps on the court. "He's 2 plays ahead," Draymond once said. "Sometimes you know exactly what your team is supposed to do, and then LeBron does something and suddenly your plan doesn't matter anymore." That's the power of basketball intelligence. It doesn't just respond to the game, it bends the game to its will. According to Draymond, LeBron is the kind of player who memorizes entire playbooks. Not just his own but his opponents as well. He knows where help defense will come from, he recognizes weak spots in real time, and he exposes mismatches before the other team even realizes it made a mistake. Draymond has often pointed out how LeBron doesn't just read a defense, he dissects it. What sets LeBron apart in Draymond's eyes isn't just his brain, but how he uses it in real time. He calls out screens, predicts rotations, directs traffic, and can act as both point guard and power forward within the same possession. It's not instinct, it's preparation. Draymond has always admired that level of control. There's also a personal parallel in this admiration. Draymond has built his own reputation as the defensive quarterback for the Golden State Warriors. He prides himself on his anticipation, communication, and reading of angles. In LeBron, he sees the only player who matches, and often exceeds, his own vision of the court. It's a rivalry based less on ego and more on shared mastery. Draymond has said more than once that facing LeBron requires a different kind of preparation. "You don't prepare for him like you prepare for anyone else," he explained. "You have to play a perfect mental game. You make one mistake, he'll find it. You relax for a second, he'll punish you." In that sense, playing against LeBron isn't just a physical challenge, it's a psychological duel. This kind of recognition doesn't come lightly. Draymond has battled the best: Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Luka Doncic. But with LeBron, it's always more than stats. It's about presence, orchestration, timing. LeBron's intelligence turns 5 players into one machine, and Draymond knows just how dangerous that is. So when Draymond Green says LeBron James is the smartest to ever play, he's not exaggerating. He's speaking from experience, from battles, from watching greatness unfold up close. It's respect, yes. But more than that, it's acknowledgement of genius, the kind that only a fellow high IQ player could truly appreciate. Draymond Green has lived at the very center of one of the greatest rivalries in NBA history: LeBron James versus Stephen Curry. For nearly a decade, these two legends have faced off in finals, playoffs, and high-stakes regular season showdowns. And while most fans love the storyline for its star power, Draymond views it through a different lens, as basketball at its purest and most intense. To understand why this rivalry matters so much to Draymond, you have to understand who he is. Green thrives in games that demand precision, intelligence, and pressure. When he says, "It's only exciting when we play against LeBron," he's not being dramatic, he's expressing a deep appreciation for what those moments bring out in everyone involved. When LeBron and Curry face off, Draymond believes the entire game changes. Every possession matters, he said. It's like playing chess, every move counts. LeBron is the ultimate strategist, reading defenses and manipulating matchups. Curry, on the other hand, is chaos personified. Off-ball movement, limitless range, lightning-fast releases. And caught in between them is Draymond, the one who tries to contain one while unleashing the other. What Draymond respects most about LeBron in this rivalry is his consistency and control. No matter the moment, LeBron doesn't panic. He adjusts. He slows the game down or speeds it up, depending on what's needed. Curry, with his spontaneous brilliance, often plays with tempo and rhythm. LeBron plays with gravity, everything bends toward him. And Draymond, as a defensive anchor and offensive facilitator, sees both sides like few others can. There's also the mental aspect. Draymond often talks about how LeBron and Steph forced teams to evolve. In their finals matchups, game plans had to change daily. You can't stop either of them, Draymond admitted. You just try to make them uncomfortable. But that's the thing, they make you uncomfortable first. He recalls one playoff series in particular where LeBron repeatedly attacked the Warriors' weakest perimeter defender. Not because he couldn't score on stronger matchups, but because he wanted to control where the help came from, to collapse the defense and hit the open man. That level of orchestration stunned even someone like Draymond. That's next-level stuff, he said. You're not just playing basketball, you're playing people. Despite the competitive fire, there's real admiration. Draymond has never shied away from expressing how much he respects LeBron's durability, leadership, and evolution. What makes the rivalry so fascinating is that it doesn't come from hate. It comes from recognition of greatness, from both sides. When Warriors-Lakers games hit the calendar, Draymond circles them. Not just because of the history, but because those are the nights where you feel like every single play might decide the game. He said more than once, those are the nights that remind you why you fell in love with basketball. In a league filled with stars and storylines, nothing in Draymond's eyes compares to the chess match between Curry and LeBron. It's brains versus brilliance, fire versus control, flash versus force. And as long as both are still playing, Draymond wouldn't want to be anywhere else. When Draymond Green and LeBron James first crossed paths on the court, the energy was pure rivalry. The stakes were high, the emotions intense, and the respect, though present, was guarded. For years they clashed on the NBA's biggest stage, the finals. They exchanged hard fouls, stare-downs, technicals, and even one of the most talked-about suspensions in playoff history. But like the evolution of their games, their relationship evolved too, from fierce competition to something far more nuanced: respect, alliance, and friendship. It's one of the more compelling dynamics in recent NBA history. In 2016, during the epic finals between the Warriors and Cavaliers, emotions boiled over in Game 4 when Draymond's actions led to a suspension that shifted the course of the series. That moment was intense, controversial, and deeply personal. But it didn't define their relationship forever. In fact, in some ways it became a turning point. Years later, both players would look back on that moment with maturity. Draymond, never shy about owning his role in any situation, admitted that the fallout of that suspension taught him about emotional control and leadership under pressure. LeBron, in turn, didn't hold a grudge. That openness paved the way for something unexpected: a connection off the court. Draymond began to see LeBron not just as a competitor but as a peer in leadership, someone who used his platform, voice, and influence for more than basketball. The two began to appear at the same off-court events. They spoke on panels. They supported each other's business ventures. When LeBron launched his Spring Hill company, Draymond voiced admiration for how LeBron built something that empowered Black creators. And when Draymond signed with Clutch Sports, LeBron's longtime agency, the message was clear: this is bigger than basketball now. Their bond is still rooted in competition. They don't go easy on each other on the floor. When the Warriors and Lakers face off, Draymond still tries to read LeBron's every move, still shouts defensive coverages, still battles for every inch. But after the buzzer sounds, it's different. They dap up. They talk. They analyze. It's as if two grandmasters just finished a legendary match, rivals in action but allies in legacy. Draymond once said, "There's a respect that only comes from going to war with someone." And that's exactly what defines his relationship with LeBron. It's not built on text messages or dinner parties. It's built on pain, wins, losses, and years of mutual excellence. You don't fake that kind of respect. Some fans were surprised when Draymond started speaking positively about LeBron in public settings. But the surprise fades when you consider who Draymond is. He's brutally honest, unapologetically competitive, and emotionally transparent. If he praises LeBron, it's because he means it. If he jokes with LeBron in a post-game press conference, it's because that relationship has been earned over time. There's something poetic about this evolution. Two of the fiercest warriors of their generation, once locked in bitter finals battles, now sharing a broader mission, shaping the league, mentoring younger players, and building lasting empires beyond the hardwood. In today's NBA, where rivalries often feel temporary or overly friendly, the Draymond-LeBron arc stands out. It's real. It's layered. And it's a reminder that respect earned in battle often becomes the strongest bond of all. To many, LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of his era. But to Draymond Green, what might be even more impressive is what LeBron has built when the arena lights go dim. His empire, his voice, his vision. In the modern NBA, being a great player is no longer enough. You're expected to be more, an investor, an activist, a brand. And in that realm, LeBron is the undisputed leader. Draymond doesn't just acknowledge that, he studies it. Draymond has never been shy about business. He's invested in tech startups, appeared on finance podcasts, and spoken openly about wealth building. So naturally, he gravitated toward LeBron's blueprint. He sees in LeBron not just an icon, but a model for athletes who want long-term impact. When asked about it, Draymond doesn't hesitate. LeBron changed the game, on and off the court. One of the key things Draymond admires is LeBron's control of his own narrative. Through platforms like Uninterrupted and The Shop, LeBron broke away from the old model of athlete-media relationships. He no longer waits for journalists to tell his story. He tells it himself on his terms. To Draymond, that's revolutionary. He taught us you don't have to be quiet, and you don't have to let someone else speak for you, he once said. Their shared appearances on The Shop highlight more than camaraderie, they show strategic alignment. These aren't just athletes talking, they're thinkers, brand architects, and cultural critics. Draymond sees that LeBron is always playing a bigger game, thinking 5 moves ahead in the world of business, just like he does on the basketball court. Then there's the money. LeBron is the first active NBA player to become a billionaire, and he did it without waiting for retirement. He invested smartly, built businesses, and leveraged his name into ownership stakes across sports, entertainment, and beyond. Draymond has said he doesn't just admire that, he's inspired by it. He's shown us what's possible, Draymond said. It's not just about how you finish your career, it's about how you use it to build something lasting. But beyond wealth, it's LeBron's use of power that stands out to Draymond. In 2020, during a period of national unrest, LeBron used his platform to push for voter turnout, speak on racial injustice, and organize player action. Draymond saw that leadership up close. While not every player chose to step into that arena, LeBron carried that weight, something Draymond considers not just courageous but historic. Draymond has often spoken about the challenge of being black, rich, and vocal in America. That's a tightrope few walk successfully. But LeBron does. And in doing so, he's opened doors and eyes for other players, Draymond included. He made it okay to speak up, Draymond has said. He made it okay to want more. There's a sense that for Draymond, watching LeBron is like looking into the future he wants to build for himself. One of independence, influence, and legacy. They may play for different teams and come from different backgrounds, but their goals are aligned. They want to win in life, not just in basketball. So when Draymond praises LeBron off the court, it's not casual. It's not PR. It's a student recognizing the teacher, even if that teacher once stood across from him in an NBA Finals staring him down in Game 7. When Draymond Green talks about LeBron James, one theme keeps coming up: legacy. Not just the rings, the records, or the stats, though all of those are impressive. What truly defines LeBron in Draymond's eyes is his lasting impact on the players who came after him. It's not just that they watched LeBron, it's that they grew up wanting to be him. And as someone who's now become a mentor himself, Draymond knows how rare that kind of influence truly is. There's a whole generation of guys in this league who don't just respect LeBron, they model themselves after him, Draymond once said. And he's right. From Luka Doncic to Jason Tatum, from Anthony Edwards to even players older like Kawhi Leonard or Giannis Antetokounmpo, the influence of LeBron is everywhere. Not just in their play style but in how they think, talk, and carry themselves as professionals. LeBron was one of the first modern NBA stars to truly understand that being a player wasn't just about buckets. It was about control, agency, image, and voice. Draymond recognizes that LeBron showed players they could be more than just athletes. They could be CEOs, activists, producers, philanthropists. That mindset has completely reshaped the NBA. Draymond, who's known for mentoring younger players on the Warriors and across the league, often tells rookies, "Watch how LeBron does it." He's not just talking about footwork or conditioning. He means how LeBron prepares, how he studies film, how he builds relationships with coaches and front office people, how he makes calculated decisions about contracts and timing. For Draymond, LeBron is the ultimate blueprint. Even in leadership style, LeBron's fingerprints are everywhere. He leads with calmness and vision, rarely needing to raise his voice. He connects personally with teammates. He challenges them without alienating them. Draymond, who is a far more vocal and emotional leader, admits that LeBron's approach has taught him a lot. "You don't always have to bark to lead," he said. "Sometimes presence is louder than words." It's also about durability. LeBron has played 20-plus years and is still competing at an elite level. For young stars, that sets an almost mythic standard. Draymond emphasizes that LeBron's longevity isn't accidental. It's the result of obsessive discipline, an off-season routine that's more precise than most players' in-season plans. "There's nothing casual about what he does," Draymond once told a podcast audience. That's the lesson. And the influence stretches off the court too. LeBron's transparency about social issues has empowered younger players to find their voices early. When stars like Ja Morant or Zion Williamson speak out about their communities, they're doing so in a world LeBron helped shape. Draymond acknowledges that this climate of authenticity, activism, and ambition didn't exist in the same way before LeBron, and it may not have happened without him. There's a humility in how Draymond talks about this. Though they've been rivals, though they've traded wins and bruises, Draymond doesn't let ego cloud the truth. LeBron built a path. One that younger players now walk more confidently because they saw him do it first. It's one thing to win games. It's another to change the league. LeBron did both, and that's what Draymond respects most. When it comes to ranking the greatest players in NBA history, conversations almost always center around a few names. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, and, increasingly, LeBron James. Draymond Green, a player who has faced some of the best and understands the nuances of greatness, has a distinct perspective on this debate. For him, LeBron is not just in the conversation, he's firmly planted at the top. Draymond has often said that comparing players across eras is tricky because the game has changed so much. But he points out that greatness transcends time. What defines a legend isn't just championships or scoring titles, it's the impact on the game, the consistency over time, and the ability to elevate teammates. And in those areas, LeBron shines brighter than most. Michael Jordan was a killer. No doubt, Draymond acknowledged in one interview. But LeBron? LeBron is something different. He's a force of nature, physical, smart, durable, and selfless. For Draymond, LeBron's unique blend of size, skill, and basketball IQ makes him one of the most complete players ever. He also draws comparisons to Kobe Bryant, admiring Kobe's relentless work ethic and killer instinct. But Draymond notes that LeBron's leadership style differs. Kobe was more intense and demanding, Draymond explained. LeBron leads with more patience and vision. Both approaches work, but LeBron's way has helped him maintain his game at an elite level for so long. Magic Johnson, in Draymond's eyes, was the original basketball maestro, an innovator who changed how the point guard position was played. LeBron, he says, carries that torch today but on a larger scale. Magic was a magician, but LeBron's ability to play and guard multiple positions, to control the game from anywhere on the floor, is next level. Where Draymond really emphasizes LeBron's greatness is in his longevity and adaptability. Few players have dominated across 3 different decades, thriving through evolving rules, new teammates, and different styles of play. Draymond calls that a testament to his mind and body, a rare combination that separates LeBron from almost everyone else. Draymond also points to LeBron's influence beyond just basketball skills. He changed what it means to be a superstar, Draymond said. From the way players handle their careers to the business deals to social activism, LeBron set a new standard. That's part of what makes him great. Some critics have pointed to LeBron's finals losses or occasional playoff struggles. Draymond counters that no player wins every time and that resilience is part of greatness. LeBron doesn't fold under pressure, he said. He learns, adjusts, and comes back stronger. In sum, Draymond believes LeBron deserves to be called the GOAT, or at least in the top 2 or 3, because of his all-around excellence, leadership, and impact on and off the court. I've played against the best, Draymond said. LeBron is the one I respect the most, and that says everything. As LeBron James continues to defy age and expectations, Draymond Green often reflects on what the future holds, not just for LeBron but for the NBA itself. For Draymond, LeBron's story is still being written, and its final chapters will shape the league for decades to come. Draymond sees LeBron as more than just a player nearing the end of a historic career. He views him as a bridge between eras, someone who has connected the NBA of the past with its rapidly evolving future. LeBron is carrying the torch for a new generation, Draymond says. He's teaching young players what it means to be a complete athlete, a leader, and a businessman. Looking ahead, Draymond believes LeBron's legacy will be defined by how he transitions into his post-playing career. With his media ventures, production companies, and philanthropic efforts, LeBron is setting the stage to influence the sport and culture well beyond the hardwood. Draymond admires this foresight. He's preparing for life after basketball like a true champion, he notes. Draymond also talks about the impact LeBron's longevity has on future players. He's changing how we think about careers. No one's going to settle for peaking at 27 anymore. LeBron showed us you can play at a high level into your late 30s and beyond. This shifts how athletes train, recover, and plan their careers. In terms of basketball culture, Draymond believes LeBron's openness about social justice, mental health, and player empowerment has paved the way for a more conscious and connected league. LeBron made it okay for players to be real, to use their voices, to be leaders off the court, Draymond said. That's a huge part of his legacy. Draymond also feels LeBron's influence will be felt in how teams are built and run. The player empowerment era, which LeBron helped usher in, has changed the balance of power between players and management. This new dynamic will continue shaping the league's landscape. LeBron showed players they can control their destiny. That's empowering. Despite all the changes, Draymond believes the essence of the game remains the same: competition, teamwork, and excellence. And LeBron embodies those values in every sense. He's the standard now, Draymond said. Not just for what you do on the court but how you carry yourself everywhere else. Finally, Draymond emphasizes that LeBron's story is an inspiration not only to athletes but to anyone striving to be great. LeBron's journey, from a kid in Akron to the biggest stage in the world, is proof that hard work, smart decisions, and resilience pay off. That's a message for all of us. As LeBron writes the last chapters of his playing career and beyond, Draymond Green watches with respect, admiration, and a sense of history in the making. We're lucky to witness this era, Draymond says. LeBron's legacy isn't just about basketball, it's about leading a generation and leaving the game better than he found it. As Draymond Green reflects deeper on LeBron James's legacy, it becomes clear that LeBron's influence transcends the game of basketball. In this chapter, Draymond emphasizes how LeBron has become a cultural icon, a social leader, and a catalyst for change, roles few athletes have embraced at this magnitude. LeBron's impact on society is multifaceted. From his outspoken activism on issues like racial justice, voting rights, and education, to his philanthropic efforts such as opening the I Promise School in Akron, LeBron has leveraged his platform to create meaningful change. Draymond admires this commitment, noting that LeBron uses his voice not just to speak, but to lead. This leadership is not without risks. In a polarized world, athletes who speak out often face backlash, but LeBron has stood firm. Draymond highlights how LeBron's courage has inspired not only fellow athletes but also young people worldwide to engage with social issues and believe in their power to make a difference. Furthermore, LeBron's ventures in entertainment and media, producing films, television shows, and documentaries, extend his influence beyond sports fans to a broader audience. Draymond sees this as part of LeBron's vision to shape narratives and culture on his own terms, breaking barriers for future generations. Draymond often mentions that LeBron's journey reflects a new era where athletes are not just entertainers but role models, entrepreneurs, and activists. This holistic approach to success, blending excellence on the court with purpose off it, sets a new standard. Ultimately, Draymond believes that LeBron's greatest legacy might be the example he sets for how athletes can use their platforms to build communities, empower voices, and drive progress. LeBron's story teaches us that greatness isn't just about championships, it's about impact, Draymond says. As the NBA continues to evolve, Draymond sees LeBron's influence permeating every corner, from player empowerment and activism to business and culture. It's a legacy that will outlast records and trophies, inspiring generations to come. The story of Draymond Green and LeBron James is one of evolution. Two fierce competitors who have moved beyond rivalry into a complex relationship marked by mutual respect, occasional partnership, and shared influence in the NBA world. Early in their careers, their encounters were defined by intensity and conflict. From physical battles in the NBA Finals to heated exchanges on and off the court, the tension was palpable. Draymond's defensive tenacity often clashed with LeBron's offensive brilliance, creating some of the most memorable moments in recent basketball history. Yet as time passed, this rivalry matured. Both players recognized each other's greatness and the unique roles they played in shaping modern basketball. Draymond acknowledges that competing against LeBron pushed him to elevate his own game and mindset. "He's the measuring stick," Draymond has said. "Playing against LeBron forces you to bring your best every night." Beyond competition, their relationship has grown into one of respect and collaboration. When Draymond joined Clutch Sports, the agency closely tied to LeBron's inner circle, it signaled a new chapter. The move wasn't just business, it was an alignment of values and goals. Off the court, they have shared stages discussing basketball, social issues, and leadership, often finding common ground despite differing styles. Draymond admires LeBron's calm and thoughtful approach, while LeBron respects Draymond's passion and outspokenness. Looking ahead, Draymond envisions their relationship continuing to evolve. He sees potential for collaboration in business ventures, philanthropy, and league initiatives. Both understand their roles as influential voices for player empowerment and social change. This evolving dynamic also reflects a broader shift in the NBA culture, where fierce competition on the court coexists with solidarity off it. Draymond and LeBron exemplify this balance, showing that rivalry doesn't preclude respect or partnership. In the end, their story is a powerful example of how professional relationships can grow beyond conflict to create lasting impact. Draymond sums it up simply: "LeBron is my rival, my teammate in many ways, and one of the greatest influences in my life and career." Image credits, Getty Images.